All right, my loves. So just out for a walk and just saw 777 and wanted to relay some thoughts that I was having with all of you. And so a lot of us are having transformation within the body, okay? And I want to tell you what I personally experienced that you might be able to relate to. So I had done some pretty deep work over the winter, like February, March into April, with shedding away, clearing away, a lot of work with God, talking with God, early morning hour stuff. I was pretty dedicated, disciplined, all of that in a small town, northern Minnesota. At times had a glow that was like incredibly radiant, I'll just say, because of the self-care internal work I was doing, pouring into me, taking all my energy, pouring into my business, all of that, okay? And then I opened the door to go back out in the world. And as beautiful as that was, it was also noisy and really overwhelming and stirred up a lot of fear in me that I didn't know that I had by tucking away in small town northern Minnesota. Now, I have traveled in interesting ways over the last year, I'll just say, taking leaps, last minute flights, last minute decisions, taking risks for sure in certain areas, and not being able to logically have it all planned out, because that's just not what courage and risk and taking leaps, we do not know the outcome of that, right? And it requires us to do that at times. Life requires us to do that at times, right? So that's what I was doing in my own unique way, mostly through travel, connections, opportunities, all of that, okay? But there was still this fear in me. And so sometimes that fear would come and take over. And as we know, fear is an illusion, but when you're in it, it's very real, very, very, very real. And so my body would go into freeze and it would go into fight flight, which is really challenging to navigate when you're out in the world and you're kind of shifting like Airbnbs a lot, or hotels, or friends' places, or whatever that is, okay? It's very interesting to navigate fight, flight, freeze when you're not just in a safe little corner of the world. Like, you literally have to get up and move every day, right? Which sometimes I think is the best thing for fight, flight, freeze, is to get up and force ourselves through that and to move, okay? Not just stay in it. And so that was kind of my navigation. Well, at one point I had created a very beautiful dynamic and had this amazing place to stay in Florida with, where I could have the beach air in my bedroom all night long. The place I was staying with the door open. It was like super, super incredible, okay? For like 10 days, I think, a week, 10 days. And so during that time, like, my body was super safe. And during this whole time in Florida, I was shedding weight and inflammation, being in the ocean every day, eating a lot of fruit, not eating much at times. Like, it was really, really good and transformational, and all the things that the ocean does for us and being by the ocean does for us, okay? And all that being said is that I became the thinnest I've been since, like, maybe forever at one point. And I could see like all the definition and stuff in my chest, and I really liked being that thin, okay? But I also lost my boobs and my butt, like all of it. Nothing there, pretty much, okay? Which for many of you who know me personally is like a very strange thing, because usually I'm much more curvy than that. So, but I liked it, and it felt really light and it felt really good. And then I just said, well, I'll just start doing weights to build up my glutes again. And I was fine having small boobs. I really was. And so, especially after having larger boobs most of my life and having to run, and the complications that come with that, and just the heaviness that comes with that sometimes. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so all that being said, once I left Florida and kind of came back to Minnesota, then where I knew I was safe and stuff, my body started putting on weight again, okay? And I actually was carb loading, and I was comfort eating, And so this is my pattern that I've noticed. When I'm out in the world traveling, okay, and this happened in December too. I was out in the world and I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was trying to force things. Falls were happening. I was pushing my way through, trying to get to, or like basically chasing what I thought were dreams and taking big leaps and taking big risks, right? Putting myself in places I thought I should be in, that I do feel like I was guided to be in, but I was forcing myself into some of these spaces, okay? Which is never of the divine. Like, the divine is much more ease. Yes, we have to show up and be courageous, but if the door is meant for you, like, it will open. And so, then I got back to Minnesota in December, so this also happened. And it's like for the first 6 weeks of settling into a new safe space, it's like I go into cocoon, but then I also go into comfort eating. And I also go into this overindulgence, right? I do for about 6 weeks. And that's what happened then too, okay? And I'm enjoying, like I'm so enjoying it though. It's not like a struggle, but I know that I'm being overindulgent. I know that I'm enjoying all the things. I know that I'm having all the coffees and all the cheese and all the carbs and everything. And I'm like, okay, so I'm enjoying this, right? And I can look back and totally see it in pictures and videos, right? And then it's like, okay, now, because I don't desire to live like that or look like that, now it's time to shift all of it. So then I'll go into, you know, like really back out on the routine, working out, trying new workouts. Like when you know what your body needs though, like you pretty much know what you need to do, right? And so anyway, so this pattern of like overindulgence, when I come back from being out in the world where fear has set in or overwhelm has set in or noise at time has set in, and then hiding away in this safe small little town, right, is that. And then after a while, like it doesn't feel good because like, you know, you're not meant to hide away from the world, right? But it's interesting, like seeing these patterns. And I'm just wondering if some of you experience this too, or perhaps loved ones in your life experience this too, where it's like we comfort through food in order to feel safe, okay? And then we know we're safe and then we get kind of bored. And then it's like, okay, well, that's not doing it for me anymore. Like literally the food stops tasting. Like that happened to me last night. I'm like, I can't taste anything. And it's always Spirit's way of saying, this doesn't truly make you happy. Like this might have been comforting for a while. It's done now. And food essentially doesn't truly make you happy. There are so many other things we could show you, like love and partnership and banter with the men that make you truly happy, right? Not hiding away in food. And so it's an interesting thing and it's comfort. And I know that so many of you have also been there. And then on the other side is this like, okay, so now my body's heavier than what I want it to be. My legs don't look defined anymore or even how I want them. And I don't choose this. And I've lived heavy for much of my life. Okay. And then have had moments where I'm super fit or like after my awakenings have all this energy and, you know, keep moving. And so it all burns off of me anyway. But the extra weight feels heavy, as many of you know, okay? So that being said, from when I like created Body Magic and everything had shut off and I was like super thin, you could see all my definition, all of that, like I'm probably up 20 pounds now, to be honest. Okay, and I used to blame that on Minnesota, which it is a little bit environment, right? Like people drink around here, they eat differently. Like I could never live that way for the rest of my life. Like I know what it leads to. It leads to exhaustion, disease, illness, everything, okay? And I don't choose that. And I'm not saying the majority, but it's just like, it's more of that lifestyle here, okay, than it is in certain areas of Florida where it's like more healthy, right? And more active, same with Arizona. Okay, so, but that being said, like I used to kind of blame that and now I'm not. I'm like, no. I've so enjoyed this time. I've so enjoyed the comforts of home. I've so enjoyed all the carbs and all the animal crackers. Oh my God, if you guys have not had like those animal crackers that are just like whatever they are from Walmart, they're fucking good, okay? And they're super addictive and they're all carbs and all like whatever it is. They don't even taste that like, it's obviously dead food, but they don't even taste that toxic. It's just like something cool to munch on until it's not, right? So these are my patterns, my loves. And do you ever conquer it fully? Yeah, probably, you know, but I'm seeing it again and I'm like, I know exactly what to do, right? And I I guess what I'm saying, like, I love feeling thin and I love feeling light. Like, I do. I hate trudging around and running with an extra 20 pounds. Like, it's just a lot and it's heavy and it's all the things, right? And even though I'm like, but things are still beautiful and like, I still enjoy how I look in outfits and I enjoy my curves and all of that. I'm like, yeah, it's just not what I choose full time, right? But it's also like, okay, this is my Minnesota body and what I had before was my Florida body. Okay, cool. Can we embrace it? You know, and just enjoy what's here for us. And that's when I saw the 777, when I'm like, it's been amazing. Like, I've slept a lot. Whenever I have had comforts of home, amazing food, like all the things, and loved it. And now I can feel it's time to transition on, right? But we don't have to shame and blame it. Like, we can say that was fucking amazing. Now it's time for the next, time to get back on, but in this next phase of things, if that makes sense. So my loves, yes. But when you see people holding weight, gaining weight, whatever, like, there's a reason for it. There's usually a comfort thing around it. There's usually a safety thing around it. And for me, it was like anxiety, and then I wanted things to crunch on. Okay, feeling anxious, feeling like I was constantly being monitored and watched and all this bullshit. And it's stirring up a lot of anxiety in me, and then me wanting to crunch on things. Oh my God, my teenage boy just fucking kicked in right there. Like, I'll give you something to crunch on. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, that's a whole other thing about me being really protective of myself and not allowing any men in as of late, which also is going to change. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but that's it, my loves. Like, we got to live. We got to get back out there. We got to look how we want, sexy, radiant, vibrant. Body sculpting is something I'm so huge on right now that I'm really looking into. Like, if we tune into our body, we're going to know. And if we don't know what exercise to do, we can look it up and Google it. Like, okay, now I have this fat around my thighs. I don't like it. Okay. There's fat around my knees that I don't like. Like, that is not attractive to me. And I love wearing dresses, short dresses with heels, shorter dresses with heels. Fucking love it. Okay. So now I'm going to get bands and I'm going to start body sculpting those areas, exfoliating those areas. And not because I hate myself. Like, that's the thing. I was exfoliating last night and dropped into a bath with all these herbs. And I was like, I don't hate myself right now or hate my body right now. Not at all, my loves. Do I get anxiety because of some of the energies around me and because of some of the projections that have happened onto me and onto my life? Yes. And I know it's not true. And those at times eat me up. And then I go and I grab something from the pantry, literally. Okay. Total transparency right now. Okay. But I also look at myself and I'm also like, you're healthy. And if you continue to eat this way, you will not be, and you know that. But right now, like, you're still incredibly healthy with 10 to 12 to 15 extra pounds. Okay, got it. Not everyone is that fortunate or that lucky right now. So be fucking grateful that you've had all this food to eat and that you've had a warm bed to stay in and that you've been so fucking comfortable after having some extreme fear that happened when you were out in the world. Okay. And so can we be grateful? Anyway, all that being said, the next, like, whatever for me is all about body sculpting, because now I've seen extreme thin and now I've seen kind of the default where I usually am. And now I'm like, let's sculpt it to how I desire it and even how God intended it to be. Okay. So my loves, you can do that too. I'm going to have way more information on body sculpting as I move through it myself. But like I said, when you tune into your body and you're like, okay, I don't like the flab on my arms. Okay, let me look up some arm exercises, not just like curls or tricep things or whatever, but like for that particular area, knowing that if I'm committed to changing that area, not because I hate it, but because I don't want it flabby, I don't want to look like that, I want to look amazing in shorts and a tank top, then I'm going to take that and do those exercises to be able to sculpt that area of my body, whether that's bands, weights, body weight exercises, whatever. Just Google it, right? Same thing with the fat around my knees and my inner thighs. Like, I'm going to Google those exercises and try that, and then, possibly create a whole thing on body sculpting for all of you where you can intuit, okay, this, like, how do I want this to look? Okay, when I stripped it all away and got rid of all the everything, it was just down to like citrus fruits, water, fruits, Greek yogurt, that still with a cocktail at night, most nights, not every night. This winter I went 3.5 weeks, which was amazing. I felt amazing. I was laughing so much, like took all the toxins away. But you get to decide. That's the beautiful thing, okay? You get to decide how you're gonna live here. You get to fucking decide. The power is in your hands, okay? So right now, I'm still rocking shorts and a tank, and I'm still getting compliments from men who drive by and, you know, beep their horn, all that stuff. Like, most people are pretty covered up here in Minnesota. Like, I don't cover myself up anymore. I'm like, this is it. Like, this is who I am. Like, this is what I'm owning right now, and I'm owning the extra 17 to 20 pounds that I have on me. So what, right? Like, life goes on. Life is more than that. And also, I know when I'm traveling and I'm adventuring and I want to wear amazing, sexy dresses, that I desire to be more thin than this. So we can have both at the same time without shaming any part of it, anybody else, our environment, ourselves. Like, no, like, what do I choose right now? And I'm going to show up and create that then. That's it. That's our part. That's our freaking responsibility. So again, remember, the power is in your hands, and contrast is such a beautiful thing, my friends, to experience the contrast. So much love, many blessings coming to you from Minnesota and the Minnesota body, and would love to hear from you. Comments, questions, insights below, and I will see you all again very soon.